Boxing Voice.
Sean Zittel from the Boxing Voice here with champion of the world at 140, now fighting the great Manny Pacquiao at 147, Chris Algieri. Chris, I wanted to ask you, are you going to implement any of the things Algieri Morales and Marquez did to defeat Manny Pacquiao? Are you borrowing anything from their playbooks?
Yeah, I mean, I think those guys showed holes in Manny's style and holes in his defense and things that that work on him. It seemed that Marquez, especially as the fights went on, started to figure Manny out more and more. He's able to adjust and readjust and use broken rhythm to kind of offset Manny's rhythmic style. Algieri Morales was another one who was able to break the rhythm in the first fight. And then so there's a lot of things out there. Tim Bradley showed a lot of holes too and opened up Pacquiao style. But I leave that to my coaches. They're really studying really intently. I'm not a big guy on studying tape. I've seen all of Manny's fights. I've seen the holes and seen the things. But I really leave it to my coaches to have the scientific approach to it. And and we just work on it every day, so it's muscle memory.
Why is it a little important, not for you as the fighter, to overanalyze the tape?
The thing about tape is you can't catch rhythm from watching tape.
Right.
So I've always said that you can't get rhythm from a tape. There's two rhythms in any ring, and Pacquiao has a rhythm with Marquez. Pacquiao has a rhythm with Tim Bradley, and they're different.
Right.
So for me to watch those fights and try and catch a man's rhythm doesn't make sense, because then you might get trapped in thinking this is how it's going to be, this is how it's going to be, this is how it's going to be. Then you get in there and you're like struck, like, oh shit, this is not how it is.
Now, do you think it'll take a few rounds for you to solve the rhythm, to kind of catch his pace a little bit?
We'll see. It always takes me a little bit of time. Sometimes I've been getting a lot faster in training. In sparring. Recently we've been bringing in new, fresh guys, and the first day it'll take like 4 rounds. The second day it'll take 2 rounds. The next day it takes 1. So it's like I'm getting faster at picking up on rhythms and setting my tone. So we'll see on fight night. You never know. Fight night is the boxing ring is the theater of the unexpected. That is no truer statement.
Very popular phrase, always true.
Yep.
Tim Lane, your trainer, I saw him doing a really fair Manny Pacquiao impersonation when you guys first started in the ring. I saw you using the jab really nicely. Will the jab be imperative in controlling the fight?
The jab is imperative in controlling any fight. Okay. Doesn't matter who you're fighting. This is boxing.
Right.
The jab is the most important weapon in boxing. It's called the #1 for a reason. You got a good jab, you're a good fighter. Simple as that.
Right.
You got a great jab, you're a great fighter. That's pretty much how it goes. Look at the best fighters who've ever lived. The guys that we think of the greatest of all time all had jabs, all had phenomenal jabs. So that's that. I've taken that to the heart as a student of the game to make my left arm my dominant hand. Even though I am righty, I'm a right-handed fighter. I put so much work into my left though. This camp though, we're working a lot on the right. So we're gonna have a lot of new tools, for this fight and for the coming years. Feel a lot more comfortable with the other punches and coming along real nicely. But yeah, the jab is important for this fight. Tim is a natural southpaw. He was a fighter himself, and he has watched hundreds of hours of Pacquiao fights. So he's got a great idea of his movements, his rhythm, his mannerisms, his ticks, his talks. So we do a lot of work, with each other, with him mimicking.
You were talking about the right hand has been a good focus.
Yeah.
Tim, it was really coming out with some pop out there in the ring. It looks stronger than ever. Tim says he thinks you could score a stoppage in this fight.
I don't ever say that it won't happen, because in my mind I've always thought if you can hit a man, you can hurt him, and if you can hurt him, you can stop him. I think I said that in our interview last week.
You did.
It's true. It's true. I felt like that even in my own career as I'm coming up, with opponents and guys who you're supposed to steamroll. You got to be careful. So a stoppage is never out of the question. People think of me as a pure boxer, but I've got pop and I'm a physically strong guy. So I would not say it's out of the question at all.
You're probably the physically stronger guy than Pacquiao, dude?
I believe so, yeah. I'm definitely the bigger man. And in terms of physical strength, even with Ruslan, he didn't push me around at all.
No.
And on the inside, he wasn't stronger than me. He's got a great punch, obviously. But in terms of physicality and physical strength, I don't think there's any guy guys in the 40s who are stronger than me. You know, so I think that could be a big factor too.
Do you think part of this increase in strength is putting on the weight, going to 147? And is this probably going to be the weight class you'll campaign at after this fight?
I'm not sure. I don't. You know, I'm not going to have a problem making this weight. I didn't really have a ton of problem making 140.
Right.
I'm a purist though, and I think of like the old guys. I want to go and defend my title and unify a division. So if that opportunity is there, I'd love to do that, but we got to see what the landscape of the sport is after this fight.
So just because this is the big fight at 140, it's actually at the catch weight of 44.
44, yeah.
But you know,
this was an opportunity fight.
Right.
It came up, and it was the opportunity for me to fight the best fighter in the world. You know, how do you say no to that?
Absolutely. Yeah. So you know, after this, 140, you may see something like a Danny Garcia fight. The top guys at 140.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, 140s are the hotbed of boxing. They're the best guys, and it's been that way for years now.
Right.
I'm honored and blessed to be in the mix with the elite of the elite.
The Boxing Voice.